There you go.
Hello. So, hello viewer. I want to say thank you for joining us once again on this show, Real Talk Show, hosted by Violet Mbiti, where we interview change makers from the African continent who are doing remarkable projects on the ground and who have started even their own initiatives so as to change Africa for the better. So today we are joined by Peter Cyril Peter, who's in the education sector, but his focus mostly is in the slum areas. And he started an initiative that is reaching out to slum children, and he's going to tell us more about it. So, thank you once again. I'm your host, Violet Mbiti, and join us at this particular period of time, even as we get to know about his work and even what they are doing with regards to COVID-19. All right. Hi, Cyril. How are you? We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Maybe you move it out around a bit. Your audio. As he tries to work on his audio, uh, try again. Hi, Cyril. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So, he's doing remarkable work on the ground, and as he works on his audio, there's a video I'd like to play for you where he was featured on NTV. Uh, All right. So you've had for yourself the remarkable projects that Cyril is engaged in. Um, Cyril, can you hear me now? Cyril, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? We can't hear you. Maybe you have to put the earphones on. So we'll also get to learn why he started this particular initiative. And okay, hi Cyril, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. You know, the last time it was working. What could be the problem right now?
I don't know. I haven't touched it yet.
Okay. Are you using your earphones?
Yeah. I think I've changed the earphone. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe just try maybe without try once again. So he's doing remarkable. He's doing remarkable work on the ground, and I'm trying to see how we can I can showcase to you some of his work. Let us see. You know. Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hi, Cyril.
Yeah, I can hear you. What about me?
Oh, yes.
Hi.
I can hear you.
Now you can hear.
So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, now I can hear you. So Cyril, kindly introduce yourself and tell us more. Sorry, viewer, for the interruption earlier on, but he's now going to share into details. So Cyril, kindly introduce yourself.
Mhm. Uh, Hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cyril Peter. I'm a social activist in the area of education, human rights, and governance. Currently, I'm the executive director of Few and Us Development Initiative, and also the founder of the smallest library in Africa, which is an initiative that is trying to ensure that there is a reading culture in the African setup, especially in the informal settlement, supporting establishing libraries, support libraries that are existing already. And also we work with schools where we support them with different learning or reading materials just to enhance their learning or reading culture. And so far so good. We have established around 5 libraries in different informal communities. The next step, we will be doing a new library in Gishagi, which is part of Kajiado. And also we've done we've also distributed quite a number of books in the far-fetched areas of Samburu, Turkana, in those public schools where there is need for reading materials, and mostly where children are forced to share one book among us, maybe six of them. So we are trying to flatten that inequality through reading, through establishing of libraries, and we thank God for the people that have come on board, different partners that we are partnering with. And yeah, so that is what the smallest libraries in Africa is all about, and that is what I do in trying to transform communities in Africa.
Yeah, so I'd like to we go back to the genesis of why you started. Why did you start the smallest library in Africa?
I've been born and bred in Mugure. Mugure is a slum where there is so much hardship, and so during my school years, we used to reading materials I've gone to a public school, so we used to struggle, especially getting reading extra reading materials just to so that we can perform well in our studies. Also at home, it wasn't that conducive, and also there wasn't any alternative space for you for where you can read. So based on the household setup, it was always chaotic, no electricity. Every member of the family wants to do their own stuff, so it wasn't that conducive for reading. So that's when now, after exposure, after going to college and doing community development, I decided to start something in the community, something that will ensure that a kid who is a kid growing up in my community did not have to go through the difficult ordeals of reading like I did. So that's when I decided to start the smallest library in Africa. And so we started with whatever small thing we had. I remember we just started in an open air space, four plastic chairs that were donated by the neighbors, and one reading table and some few books that were donated by the neighbors. So that is how we started the library. That was in 2014. So 6 years down the line, the smallest library in Africa has become an household name in my community, where we have gone just beyond providing reading materials to supporting children, needy children who uh, one in one way or the other are not have not been enrolled to school, because again the issue of poverty again is trying to erode the step that we as a country have achieved, especially with free primary education. But you'll find, due to poverty, due to disability, a lot of children are missing the opportunity. So what we do, we identify the children who are coming to the library, and we use it as a platform to help them enroll to schools. So far, we support about 30 children from very needy background. Apart from the scholarship, we've introduced life skills and mentorship, whereby we all know that in informal settlements you have a lot of things that are happening. The issue of early teenage pregnancy is always on the rise. The issues of crime and drug abuse is always on the rise. Mind you, I've lost um, some few people that I've grown up with through crime, through drugs, and it has always been. I've always wanted to make something different. So apart from that, we also do health and nutrition, where we support kids below 5 years of age with nutrition. That is through we train young mothers. We also provide them with food, especially that are rich in sugar and fat, and that is to develop their brain development, which is for a long for which is in a long run is very important in terms of even education performance and outcomes. So that is what the library is all about. That is what we've been able to achieve so far. That is what we're doing.
Great. So I just wanted to so I just wanted to follow up, like the ages of the children that your initiative has impacted. So what is the age group that you target with the smallest children in the smallest library in Africa?
The age group as
Yeah, like ages. Is it from 3 years or
so
is
far
it
we always have different categories of beneficiaries. For when it comes to accessing the library, we always have membership. Yeah, so what we normally do is we normally first, when you come to our library, you have to be a member. So we always have a membership card. So we fill in your details. So from your details, you know, like your age and also your school. And if you don't have a school, there is a program we enroll you. It's all about for the smaller children from as early as 5 years to 3 to 5 years. You normally have molding session for them and coloring session for them. So that is to just develop their imagination and to also like just work with like just to develop the imagination. From there,
Hi, I can hear you. Continue.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Continue.
Yeah, so that is as early as 5, as 3. Third group is as early as 5, 3, sorry, to all the way to Form 4. All the way to Form 4. That's where we mostly target our beneficiaries. And so far as we talk, we have over 200 members as part of our library initiative.
Wow.
And yeah, for nutrition is below 5 years of age, years of age. Yeah.
All right. So I'd like to talk about the challenges that the smallest library in Africa faces. Could you kindly share with the viewer the challenges that, as the smallest library in Africa, you've faced, and what have you done to overcome? Have you heard my question? We can't hear you. Viewer, let me get in touch with Cyril because seems that his audio has developed an issue. Hi, Cyril. Your audio is having issues. Could you try and see whether it can work again? All right. Yeah. So Cyril is doing remarkable work, and you've even heard what he has said. And viewer, if you yeah. So yeah. Can you hear me now? Kindly say hello so that we may continue. Can you hear me? I think there's an issue with his with the with his headphones, but we're going to try and resolve it as soon as possible. So Cyril,
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
we can't hear you.
So I don't know why the earphone is born a cause. Even the first time, the first earphone, it quite it's working, then it's not working. It's working.
Okay, try removing it and then connecting it again.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Um, so so Cyril is doing remarkable work on the ground in Mugure slum, and my goodness, the lives that he has impacted, especially the young children in Mugure, it's just amazing. He started the smallest library in Africa, as you've heard, and he's been reaching out to well-wishers so that they can contribute books towards the library. It's been a challenge, but he's managed to weather the storm, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about it. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes. So,
So
could you kindly maybe share about the challenges that you have faced as the smallest library in Africa?
uh, so so when you're starting something, you don't have a preview of what the challenges that you might face along the way. So during when we started, first the community wasn't really into the idea, because again they were not used to having a library in their own community. These are it was like a foreign culture, but it's something that the community need. So at first there was a challenge in trying to explain to the parents in terms of the library. And initially the library was in an open air space, so it was very difficult for a parent to allow his or her child to come to the library. But little by little we started gaining the ground with them, and we started inviting the parents also to be part of our activities, like even the life skills that we always used to do. And so by time the community started buying into the idea. And two, we didn't have when we were starting, we didn't have the resources, like resources where you can build a library. And but that was part of the vision, to have a library that was well staffed. So we started starting initially. So we had a lot of challenges in terms of the weather, and also in terms of because the weather we couldn't open during the long rains. We couldn't open the library. Even we couldn't open the library during the day because of the scorching sun. So we used to wait until 5:30 p.m. So we only used to have like 2 hours of learning when we started. So that was like 3 good years of open learning. And so another challenge that we saw was the issue of the capacity, like trying to quench the task the task of those children. Imagine over 200 school going children having to, and apparently you are able to only accommodate like 20 children go at one go. So that meant that a lot of children were missing the opportunity. So that was another challenge. And another challenge was like not everyone was, when there is change, everyone is opposes, everyone tries to oppose change. And so another challenge that we got was people especially those people felt, because nowadays when you start something in the community, people are looking at it in a political angle, like like people thought that by me starting a library, it is for me, it is like a platform for me to start my political career. So it always brings that backlash of the leaders who are there already trying to see you as an opponent for their political ambition, which we then tried as much as possible to invite them to our functions and get to sell our vision to them. And so far so good, we've gotten support from different people. And also the challenge that because you having to start, you don't have sorry, you don't ultimately have.
Hi, Cyril. You've disappeared. Um, Let me try reaching him again. Hi, Cyril. You have muted your line. Kindly unmute your line. Yeah, so while he's unmute, yes, nice.
Hello.
Yeah, kindly go ahead. You had muted your line.
So I start again.
Okay, kindly, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi, Peter.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. So, let me ask you, at this particular period of COVID-19, what is your organization currently doing?
Uh, mhm. So so as Yahudi, which is the organization that most library in Africa is under. So what we focus on, we always design programs for children and youth that are there to ensure that they advance their lives. So during this COVID-19, what we've done is we identified, or we realized that um, a lot of children from informal settlements are not learning because, again, they don't have the equipment or the gadgets or the resources required for them to access the current online learning that, according to different sources, only 22% of children across the country are able to access. So what we've done is, through our organization, we've been able to come up with a well-structured and coordinated learning program for the children in Muguru slum. And what this program is called Tunasoma Project 19. And what we do is, our aim is to ensure that the children are able to continue their learning, and also to ensure that they are also empowered so that they can be currently the situation of early teenage pregnancy being high, especially in the informal settlements. Like in Nairobi, we have about 1,000 and over 1,000 cases of early pregnancies for the last two months. So that's what our program is all about. So what we do basically, just to give you an hypothesis of our program, is we have, together with different organizations which I'll mention as we go on, we've been able to come up with different gadgets. So what we do is provide gadgets to the children that we have identified. These are the candidate, the KCPE and KCSE candidate, and we provide them. We have group them into different codes, 3 codes, and per code you have like 6 individual candidates, and through the codes we've been able to provide them with the necessary gadgets, that is smartphones and laptops, and also we've been able to provide them with internet. And finally we provide them with online learning classes, which are being provided by KUZE, organization that is providing the online classes, and they are bringing qualified teachers on board to teach on different subjects. So that is the platform that we are able to tap in. And so every day we have these children who come to the space that we identified, and we are able to tap onto the platform, the learning platform, and they are able to learn. Each day they have 2 lessons, as from 10 a.m. So every course has 2 hours, and those within subjects. And at the end of the day, every Friday we have life skills or mentorship sessions. Very important.
Okay. All right. All right. So, viewer, um, you're on mute, Cyril. Yeah. So
Hello.
you had muted your line. Kindly go ahead. You have muted your line. Yes, we can hear you
Hello.
now. You have muted your line. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So what we've done is, like, each and every Friday is now when we have life skills. So we have different organizations that they're part and parcel of this program, that are into giving they're into life skills and mentorship, especially in terms to sexual and reproductive health. We have Femi Foundation, we have menstrual hygiene, we have House of all foundations that are into also sexual reproductive health. And we also have your organization, Violet Mbiti Foundation, that is sponsoring our internet. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. So, viewer, you've heard for yourself. You've heard for yourself the remarkable work that Cyril is doing. Cyril, can you hear us now? Can you hear us? Okay. So, viewer, as you heard for yourself, Cyril is doing a remarkable job. So at this particular time of COVID-19, his organization, Yahudi, You and Us, Development Initiative, has brought together stakeholders who are supporting, educating children from Mugure slum, so that they can facilitate, so that they can be able to, learn. Because at this particular time, these are candidates either in class 8 or in form 4. So what we are doing as stakeholders, we are providing different resources. So even as my organization, the Mbiti Foundation, we will be providing data for use during the lessons. Now, internet. The other stakeholders that he has mentioned earlier who are also providing their own resources. So by so doing, we will ensure that no child is left behind, especially those from the slum areas, so that they can be at par even with their counterparts who are also who are also receiving education in the rest of the country. So we say that slum children who are in the slum, they are not going to be left behind. So let me, Cyril, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So I'd like you to speak now to a donor who's maybe watching this program. What message do you have for a donor who's watching this program? And what kind of support as Yahudi do you need?
What kind of support as Yahudi do you need? Yeah. When we talk about support, currently as we speak, we've been able to only afford 7 gadgets, and that has really limited in terms of our coverage, because a lot of students in the informal settlement are missing the opportunity to continue their learning. And we all know that access to education is a basic human right, and you all know that education is one of the equalizing factors in today's world. And so when we whatever COVID has showed us that we still have a long way to go, as much as realizing access to quality education. And at this point, what COVID has told us is that to invest a lot in infrastructure that will enable online learning to be embraced by everyone. And at the same time, a lot of the children in the informal settlement are missing this opportunity, and it calls for different stakeholders to ensure the right infrastructure in our informal settlements, to ensure that every child is able to access or continue their learning, irrespective of what is happening with the issues of corona or COVID-19. As per our program, we would like to engage our donors in the areas of providing these gadgets. We are able to use smartphones, but if we can get different gadgets, more gadgets, that will be really appreciate, because now it means we can be able to support a lot of kids. And two, it comes also with issues of internet connectivity. A lot of informal settlements don't have any internet connectivity, and this is part of the inequality that you're talking about. And so there is a need for us to ensure that even with the internet providers, the government, and even the donors who want to come on board, is to help us ensure that the idea that we have, the long-term idea of the Tunasoma project, which is to ensure that every informal settlement has an internet connectivity, which serves a lot of children, and then that means that a lot of children are able to tap into this internet. What they only need to do is to ensure that they have a smartphone or these gadgets that also we aim to provide. Then they are able to read at the comfort of their homes. And if their homes cannot provide that conducive environment, then we all have different avenues where we can provide, or we can engage with these stakeholders like the churches, to ensure that they provide these spaces that can be able to then accommodate these children, and then we can be able to give them the gadgets, and they can be able to continue their learning just like any other middle class student or child that is currently learning. So my plea to everyone, to any stakeholders or any donor out there, is to if they can come on board and help us in different ways, because this one is a different ball game which requires different inputs. And for us, we are ready to always engage with them and see how we can expand this project. Because again, remember, just the other day the government talked about the school being reopened in January next year. So it means we have like another 6 months, which we're not sure if it will be open because of the way the corona is going, with the corona is going, with the way the situation is. Then it means that what will be happening for the next 6 months, what will our children be doing? Education is part of character building, and without, if that cannot be accessed, then if that cannot be possible, then it means that the rebuild the character of our children will be wanting in the next 6 months, and we'll continue having the issues of the issues of um, issues of children being abducted. Because again, remember, this is the time where children, especially those who are at home, they don't have anyone to take care of them, and their parents have gone out to fend. They're only alone, and so this is trafficking again. Issues of child trafficking, child molestation again going up, because we are not right to.
We can't hear you, Cyril. Yeah, you had
Hello.
disappeared. You had disappeared briefly. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
You had disappeared briefly. Yeah, no, I'm learning to work with my earphones. Yeah, so it requires a lot of input from both sides. So whoever out there that would like to be part of our Tunasoma project, they are highly welcomed, because even very soon we'll be starting to provide food for these children, so that they don't go out and to the streets. And again, corona is out there, so children will end up to be the ones who are bringing corona to the informal settlements if this one is not tackled well.
Oh, great, great, great. Um, Yeah. So it's been a great.
Hello.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you to you, Cyril, for gracing the set, the broadcast, and viewer even for watching this particular show. So
Thank you
till
for
next
having me.
time, it's adios. Uh, till next time, it's adios from us, and looking forward
how, how,
to.
how, how, how am I living?
Pardon?
How,
Maybe.
haven't
Yes,
been
yes.
given tea. You told me you'll serve me tea.
But I will serve you tea, but you'll have to come to the office again so that you may have tea. But I will serve you tea. You'll have to come to the office again.
So you don't have like virtual. You don't have like
There's no
virtual
virtual tea.
tea ballroom.
So it's been great having you on board, Cyril. And yeah,
And
and I wish you your best,
thanks,
the
Maya,
best.
for having me. It's been
Great having you on
awesome.
I, I appreciate. So thank you. So thank you. Oh, Cyril, there's a question for you from.
Thank
There's
you,
a question
and
for
I
you.
wish you all the best
There's
in
a
your show.
question for. There's a question for you from Mohammed.
Next time me, I'll want to be part of the audience and to
Okay, no
learn
problem.
from whoever change maker that will
Okay, and then there's a question
give the
for
host.
you. There's a question for you from Mohammed.
So how do
No,
I
don't
end? How
leave.
do I
Don't
leave?
leave. There's a question for you. There's someone asking you a question. Question from Mohammed.
From?
Mohammed is asking, given this unprecedented situation for all the children, how do you ensure children cope with this situation in terms of psychosocial support? Have, have you heard me? Cyril. Have you heard the question? Hi, Cyril. Have you heard the question? Uh, um, let me get in touch with him so that to see whether he can answer the question. Hi, Cyril. There's a viewer who has a question for you. Yeah, with regard to psychosocial support for the children. Would you like to answer? Okay. Kindly respond then on the show. Pardon? Okay, so he's getting back. His internet had an issue, but it's now going to be resolved. So this is the question that Mohammed had for Cyril. So so he'll be joining the broadcast again in a few to answer that particular question. So Cyril.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
So there's a question from Mohammed.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so there's a question from Mohammed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's asking
I'm listening.
Given the unprecedented situation for all the children, how do you ensure children cope with this situation in terms of psychosocial support?
Mm-hmm.
How do you ensure children cope with this situation in terms of psychosocial support?
So basically, children have their different needs, and um, what the needs that COVID has tried to rob children is one, um, access to food. Access to food, that is one, because again, with the loss of jobs and the income has gone down, and so in cases where children used to have different meals in one day, it has shortened to one, or even sometimes go.
You've disappeared, Cyril. I think he's working on his mic.
Hello.
Yeah, you're now. Yeah, yes, you're now
Hello.
audible. Kindly respond again.
Yeah, so as we all know, children do have different needs, and during this COVID-19, one of the needs that has really been affected is access to nutritious food. Because remember again, COVID-19 has robbed a lot of households their ability to the income. The income levels have gone down, and so it has restricted to parents, to some children going hungry, or even some children not getting enough meals that could sustain them. What we've done is we started a movement called Mashinani COVID-19 in our slum in where we work, slum of Mugure, and we have identified about 60 to 70 needy families, part of them being children. And so what we've done is we've ensured that we supply these families continuously with at least food that will take them for quite some weeks, most probably at least 2 weeks. And so what we always provide, depending with, we always provide, we've ensured that we provide with the basic meals that also have nutrition value, like flour, which is full of carbohydrates. We always do milk, which is full of sugar and fat, and that will ensure that at least those children can be able to access food. Two, children also like to play, and what we've done is we are not forcing children to COVID-19 again. We've always like ensured that these children are able to, because we have different spaces, open spaces in the community, where the children are able to come and converge and play. Some ride bicycles, others they play different games, and so on and so forth. And finally, the one is with the issues of education, and this is now for at least those, because we are still at the pilot stage. We're working with the candidates already, but for the smaller children, we intend to bring out to issue issue out different booklets that will keep them like they can draw things at the comfort of their homes, just to ensure that the imagination is still continuing, and just always being there, visiting them, and seeing someone visiting them, and so on and so forth. So that is what at least we have been able to do so far.
Okay. So thank you for your response, Cyrus. And it's now time to end our broadcast. So I want to say thank you for gracing the set, Cyril, and I also want to say thank you, viewer, for watching this show. And I hope you've learned a lot with regard to
Hello.
education in slum areas. Yes, Cyril. Yeah. So we'd like to end this broadcast now. Uh, so thank you for watching this live broadcast, and
Hello.
we will be back again. All right. So it's goodbye
Hello,
from us.
Vayo.
Yay.